Hello, hello, hello! Welcome, well met. Welcome to the stream. Today we are going to be playing The Great Ace Attorney. Oh, I nearly forgot to introduce myself. I'm Leona Theodosia. Or at least that's how you pronounce my name. Oh, jeez. I'm getting distracted by clicking on things in the background when I'm trying to talk. This is what I get. This is what I get for doing too many things at once. Hello, Margaret. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I didn't. I'm like, yeah, I didn't check to make sure that I could actually read the thing. Let me check. Oh no. Hold on. Tech issues. My switch was not put in properly in the dock, so I had to jiggle it a little. I'm just like, hello, poke that. And it's like, oh, hey, there's a switch in there. I'm like, yes, there is. All right, now we can get into the game. Hold on, I need to hit this button. And then I'm good. So as you can see, we're in episode 2 of the Resolve side of Chronicles, because for those who don't know, who are jumping in right now, which odd choice, but there you go. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is made up of 2 games, which is, well, I'll just say the ending bit. There's Adventures, and then there's 2 Resolve. As in the number 2, it's the second game. So people just say Adventures and Resolve. Okay, that's out of the way, we're going. Yes, and I didn't load this up immediately because I figured there'd probably be a cutscene, as there usually is when you start a new episode. Yep, episode 2. The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro.
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road. As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind had been resolved. But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight, then in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night.
I don't know where to look.
I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas. Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene, it only proved to be the overture that announced the rising of the curtain on a most tragic play.
I love these little intros that are just like classical literature style. Yep. Yes, you are. Also, hello, Grandma Iris. Hello, hello. I just realized you came in. I was having issues. So my doc decided not. That was an angry face. Jeez, I move one a little bit differently, and oh my gosh. Okay, some things make me laugh even. Okay, I'm gonna scooch up a little actually. I'll put in a little over. There we go. Now I'm less in the way of the text box. Alright. Oh gosh, I haven't done Ryunosuke's voice in a hot minute. Am I gonna be able to get it right? Let's get some water. Because my voice has been scraggly lately, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm gonna rely so much on water now. I don't sound as scraggly. Okay. How did I do Ryunosuke's voice? I'm having trouble here. I should have practiced beforehand. Let's see. Something like, my name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a fledgling lawyer. Just starting out on my journey. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, I got it. So worried. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law. Oh, visiting student of law. Whoops, my bad. Having made the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in a quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. And now you're in his attic. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancy of sorts. I've successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey. But since a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. That epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from slumber. Thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. It's the letter Susato sent that she read at the last episode. So last stream. That's part 22, because we're on 23, if I'm not mistaken. I'm already forgetting the numbers I wrote just like an hour ago. Bad me. But yeah, last stream. It's linked. Oh, I forgot to change the link. Oh, hold on. Well, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm realizing I'm forgetting to do things. I'm just like, oh, wait a second. Let me do that quickly before someone clicks on it and then realize it's the wrong link. I've had to do this twice now. I'm sorry. Bad me. Forgetting to update the links in my video description. Let's see. Put in the appropriate part. I changed the number. I did not change the link. Bad me. There we go. Now if you click on it, it will take you to the previous video if you need to watch that. Bad me. Once again. Okay. But yes, you can click on there and it will take you to the previous one, and at the end of it, you can see what's written exactly in the letter if he does not read it over again in a moment. He's hungry. But I guess for a quick little summary, she's essentially, Susato, the writer of the letter, is going, hey, the thing that spooked my dad in Herlock has to do with that second case where Soseki Natsume got accused of killing a person again. Because it's always a murder case. Ah, jeez. But okay. Right now, Ryunosuke's hungry. Are you hungry, man? A delicious smell wafting up the stairs. It's been nearly time for breakfast. I better go down to Mr. Shalom's suite and say my good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. His daughter. 30th August, 7:28 a.m., Shalom's suite. Is he depressed today or happy? Last time he came down here, he was really depressed. And I'm like, Shlomes? Shlomes. You're doing me the worry. Ah, Bruno, good. I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready. Ooh, bacon. I had bacon earlier today. Bacon's good. Good morning, Iris. Smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. Shalom's interrupted. Hi, I see you're in good spirits today. Oh, he got his machine back. That wasn't there last time, too. Shh, not a word, Mr. Naruhodo. This could be just the abstruse thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation-repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow. That was a lot of long words. Morning to you too, Mr. Shlomes. Ah, yes. I see. So that's it. Hi. I would be pushing... Get out of my face. Thank you. Too close. The truth is clear to me as day. My faculties of the observation have revealed it again. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruhodo, you have, this very morning, met with a surprise. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. He's just quiet. Can I talk now? But of course! Though I don't look for admiration, you understand? My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. Oh, it has? And that button was ripped off last night, if you remember? By you. Hurley pulled your button off? I love how this man is the smartest character in this series and the dumbest. Not because he's actually being dumb, but because he gets ahead of himself. And is apparently fairly forgetful of things he doesn't find important. Very not forgetful of the things he does find important. Which we'll see probably more now that we're into Resolve here. Oh gosh. Oh no, we're gonna go get to that one eventually. That gave me so much secondhand embarrassment, and it's gonna be worse because I'm gonna be streaming it. Okay, sorry, I'm just remembering a part. Oh gosh, seriously, I'm not looking forward to that part. Oh boy, okay, anyway. That's a ways off yet. Oh yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? What is your memory? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder then, in my vexation, I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place. Well, I'd like it back. Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. Helpful. What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was an error. But Hurley, Bruno said it when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning. Is he gonna go sulk in the corner now? Well, that really is a surprise. Shlomes, please. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire. Famous consulting detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name. Which, yes, it's Sherlock Holmes based, but there's legal reasons why they can't use Sherlock Holmes. It's a whole thing, look into it if you so wish. But it's also kind of accurately another character that also came about due to similar illegal reasons. From one Marcel Leblanc's Arsène Lupin, which you may be more familiar with if you ever played Persona 5. Because yes, same thing. That's also why the cafe is called Leblanc. It's because the main character's persona is Arsène Lupin. Anyway, that's getting off track. Moving on. Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. I need this bacon before it goes cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend. Iris is so cute. And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Shlom's lodger and companion. More of a daughter. And more of the one who is like the parent somehow in this parent-child dynamic. Yes, Herlock is more of the child. That's gonna be a running joke and I love it. I am totally fine perpetuating it. It's very silly. A truly exceptional young girl who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, as published in Naranced magazine. So, Mr. Naruhodo, will you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? Ah, well, I received a letter from Japan. Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it? Really? That's right. And she had some rather startling news, in fact. Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast. Oh yes, what fun. Ah, you're such a goober. Miss Suzato's letter. This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning, by international post. Oh, how lovely! Look at Susie's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it. Oh, it's probably written in Japanese, which is kanji, katakana, well, probably not, wait. No, she probably would have used katakana for, like, Shlom's and Iris's name. Oh, some people may not know this. Japan's made up of Japanese writing is made up of 3 writing systems. Kanji, which is probably the one you're thinking of, which is kind of like, you can always fit it in a little tiny square. There's usually a lot of strokes, or lines, as it were, whatever you want to call it, put it as. And then there's hiragana, which is much more simple than kanji, because kanji is also the one there, it's like, there's a word for tree, well, a kanji for tree, and kanji for, like, person, so it's like each concept. It's not phonetic like hiragana is. And then there's katakana, which is exactly the same as hiragana, just written differently, and it denotes that this is a foreign word. Well, to Japan. It's foreign to Japan. Japanese. That's probably not a very good explanation, but hopefully it made some modicum of sense. If you need me to explain it later, I will probably do a better explanation than the comments. I could put examples in. But anyway, I tried. You can look it up yourself too. Anyway, back to the game. That's why Iris can't read it. It's written in Japanese. And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer in the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case. Ah, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful? Got above your good self, my dear fellow. I've won cases too, you know. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsume. No, I don't recall that name. Of course. Okay. I like how I'm like, of course you don't, but here's Ryunosuke saying, of course you do. Of course you do. We helped the man. Twice. You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago now. Ah! The mustache twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and the mustache. He didn't have 2 mustaches, Hurley. Yes, you could forget those 2 cases. They made a very deep impression on me. Although I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. A very deep impression they made on you, clearly. Startling news. So, what was this startling news penned by Miss Susato? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Shlomes? Ah, yes. It's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur. He's totally forgotten then. Ryunosuke's not impressed. Anyway, in her letter, Miss Susato asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. Though it took place half a year ago, for what purpose? Because of something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with the case of the haunted lodgings. Oh. Mr. Slums is looking at us again. Oh, if you are just jumping in, whenever Shlums looks directly at the camera, it usually means he's being more serious. On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Miss Susato's father questioned him about the case, she says. And something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram. Oh, that case! Yes! It was very strange, wasn't it? Yes. And I had compiled the whole story in a nice, neat manuscript, ready for publication, too. But then Hurley here was all funny about it, remember? It was very mean. That story must not be published, you said. Very mysteriously as well. Really? I said that? Are you sure? Are you really actually faking this?
Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Shlums? About why Miss Susato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan?
Miss Susato's pre-trial? Okay, nope. Not gonna be able to pronounce that.
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover.
It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan. Indeed it was. Due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe.
That's right. Telling her to return urgently.
Yes, because her father had passed away.
No. He said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever is just a ruse.
A ruse?
So Susie's daddy lied to her so that she'd make the voyage back home? Why would he do that? I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings.
Yep, talking over.
Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that. I wonder what Miss Susato's father is hiding. Hairly, do you know what it's all about?
Oh, he's in his coat now. Ah, well, who can say?
What? But you said...
Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel. Even if I were quite at leisure. So, man the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris?
I will, Hairly, don't worry. See you later.
Off he goes. His little bow, I love it. At least Shlums has the best animations. I think Shlums and Van Zeeks have like... Well, not like, how to put it more of? Just, they're very well animated. They have the most flamboyant and like diverse. That's one of the word I was trying to look for. Diverse. They have a very diverse set of animations. There we go. Shlums has the silliest. I still love his falling over animations. Just him flailing his arms and then goodbye. So silly.
He scuttled off rather quickly there.
Yep.
I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Soseki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Mr. Shlums.
Aha! I found them at last.
Iris, are they...
The notes about the case? That's right. Susan and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Bruno?
Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light.
That's the spirit. Just what is spooking? Shlums and Mikotoba.
And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation, the fierce battle in court that followed. Reliving every detail. Just need to find a clue, and I have all the time in the world. Because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain.
Ew. You can only reminisce.
It was 6 months ago, a mysterious incident that unfolded on the wintry streets of London.
Poor Miss Olive.
A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement of Briar Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident.
Yep.
The fog was thick, and nobody saw her attack her, but by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time, and was duly arrested.
Yep, that was Soseki-san! He's so nervous. We're gonna see him when he's upset again. I feel bad for poor Soseki.
That man was Soseki-san, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Schlums.
Which is why he doesn't like him. Soseki, that is.
Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Susato-san and I decided to represent Soseki-san in court. And after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence.
Joyful! Joyous! Jubilation! Jubilation! Jubilant jubilation.
Yeah. Was the man's reaction after the trial, but his jubilant jubilation was short-lived.
Because he got embroiled in another one.
We received a telegram from Mr. Schlums the following morning. The victim of the Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to Bart's at once.
Thank you, Shalom.
So Susato-san and I summoned a hansom and headed immediately to the hospital.
Handsome as in, not appearance, but like a type of carriage. Oh wow, there's a rat! Mouse! Rodent! Ratsy! Okay. I'm not upset by it, to be clear. I'm just like, cutie! Okay, 21st February, 5:30 a.m., St. Bartholomew's Hospital, Recovery Ward. Hey, Shlums. There you are at last!
Good morning, Mr. Schlums.
I think not. Oh! Oh yeah, Susato's still here with us. You're late! What on earth took you so long?
Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Schlums, and it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital. That's right, it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time.
The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I have been waiting for what feels like an eternity. Ah. In point of fact, I myself was awoken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy. And feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour, I sent one to you.
Thanks for that.
Anyway, you're here now, so the victim is over there. She's only just regained consciousness. You should introduce yourselves, and I shall observe from here. Thank you, Shlums.
So that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with a knife in her back.
Her name is... Ah yes, here we are. Miss Green. Olive Green. Okay. Salmon. Ooh. I don't think... Will it let us look around?
Look, there's a photograph in this frame here.
Oh yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman.
It looks to be about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think?
My, Mr. Naruhodo. I didn't know you had a sense for matters of the heart.
Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought of.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to her.
Good morning.
Hello. Oh, what voice am I gonna give you?
Hello, I'm a Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan.
Oh no, was it your knife then? Are you the man who...
No, I'm a lawyer. And I am Susato Mikotoba. Pleased to meet you.
Oh no, was it your knife then? Are you the one?
Oh no, I assure you. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard that you regained consciousness and wanted to come give you our best wishes.
Best wishes? For me?
Thank you. I'm Olive. Olive Green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's not right, is it? What I mean is, I'm trying to be an artist. Well, what I really mean is, I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is, I don't have any talent. I know I don't. It's no wonder I was stabbed in the back. Oh, I don't think that's related, actually. Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down. Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. Okay, ask her. What incident? To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement. It's a terrible experience you had, Miss Green. It was so cold that day, and the fog was so thick. I couldn't see a thing. That was 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right? Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time. But that case has been solved, hasn't it? While I've been here in the hospital, I mean.
Indeed it has, my dear madame. Spectacularly, by none other than I, Herlock Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes, as you well know, it was Mr. Naruhodo's hard work in court that solved the case.
Susato told him off.
Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green? Yes, I am afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly. Oh, I see. The coming round seems to have made everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry. I should never have regained consciousness. It was selfish of me. Oh no, we're all so relieved that you're on the mend, Miss Green. Really we are. With that kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green.
Oh no. Also, Ryunosuke, that was rude, but at least you kept that as a thought, not extra. That was an internal. Kept it internal, not external. Okay, about yourself.
So, you're an artist, are you, Miss Green? Oh no, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I mean, I'm a student of art, really, at the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts. Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts! Great Britain is such a wonderful country.
Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts?
Oh no, actually. I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road.
I see. How very interesting.
Oh no, is it?
Brixton is some 10 stops away on the underground from here. And Thorndike Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton down center.
Does that matter, Mr. Sholmes?
Perhaps not, but Briar Road is far less salubrious? Salubrious? Yeah, is a far less salubrious part of town by comparison, dealt in those by inferior means, including the Maleficent Mr. Mustache.
Inferior means? I suppose Soseki-san does fit the bill.
Ryunosuke feeling bad for Soseki. It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine arts student to be walking in such a district. That's all.
What's this? She suddenly clammed up. Mr. Sholmes, you should be ashamed of yourself, prying into a young maiden's private affairs.
Oh dear me. Do forgive me.
If you don't mind. I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pack up my things. Oh, yes, of course. We won't keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green.
Ah! Hi. Is there a Mr. Naru Fodder here? Mr. Naru Fodder!
Naru Fodder now? Well, if you're looking for Naruhodo, the lawyer, that's me, but...
Ah, Mr. Naru Fodder. Good. This is for you. It's a message from a Mr. Soseki Natsume. Soseki How did you get Natsume out of Natsume? I would like understand like Matsume. More like a doormat, but like nutmeg out of Natsume? Why are you so bad? I kind of know why. Moving on.
Mr. Natsume sent a message to me. But why would a policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Natsume? Exactly. What's going on? What's a Scotland Yard constable doing paying delivery boy at this time in the morning?
Arg! What are you waiting for? Let me see that! Shloms is so impatient. Oh! Oh. Well, this is most unexpected.
Is something wrong, Mr. Shloms?
There's something wrong, Mr. Shloms, he says. Have you not seen this note? You literally just took it out of his hands before he read it.
No.
How could I have? It would seem that London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective rest. A new case calls. A case of murder, no less. We must depart at once.
Murder?
Call a cab. Time is of the essence.
But the trouble is, we've yet to read Mr. Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit at his lodgings once we did.
That would be entirely convenient.
Convenient? What do you mean?
It's all here in the note, my dear fellows. The murder we must investigate took place at Mr. Mustache's lodgings.
Wait, what? I'll hire a Pfizer? I'll hire a Pfizer at once.
This game always throwing out words I'm not familiar with. I'll try my best. But disclaimer, I'm probably gonna get things wrong.
It was only yesterday that Soseki-san was in court, and we were dispelling doubts about his innocence. And now, the very next day, it's a murder at the man's own address? May very well be the unluckiest man alive. So it seemed to us at the time, but we were soon to discover it was worse than we thought.
Now I'm thinking of this, because this is my second time playing. And yes, poor Mr. Natsume is very unfortunate. 21st February, 7:18 a.m. Mr. Natsume's lodgings, ground floor. Oh, hello.
What on earth? Oh my, the gentleman is deceased without question. He's dead.
Locrum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
Mr. Natsume.
Oh, why? Why is this happening? Why to me? I've only just gotten out of court yesterday, and I was finally home after 2 days of misery. And then I wake up the next day to this. No early bird should catch a worm like this. Woeful, warm, without wiggle. I see you're in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Mustache. Ah! Not the horrible Herlock Shloms! Shoo! Shove off! Show yourself to the door! I never invited you!
Mr. Shloms came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume.
I'm entirely at your disposal, Mr. Mustache. What can I do for you? Ugh. Oh, hey, Gregson. Here they are already. Busybodies. Ah, Inspector Gregson. What a pleasant surprise. Pleasant, is it? Gives me heartburn every time I see your face at a crime scene, Shloms. Ah, I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food. Shots fired. Oh wait.
Good morning, Inspector.
This is a crime scene. Don't you go touching anything.
Well, good morning to you, too, Sunshine.
Oh, poor Soseki. No, we're talking to Soseki first. My poor man.
a terrible thing to have happened.
It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. Endless existence of excruciating experiences.
So the victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room is just 1 story up, is it?
Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose.
So did you know the victim? Were you friends?
Soseki. Oh dear. Oh dear.
What's the matter with Soseki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it?
Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger. But did he ever invite me to his room? Never. On my honor, I swear it.
What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you'd never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
When we found him here, I felt wretched, which is why I sent word asking you to come. Through that inspector over there. Okay. Cragson's getting... he's getting blocked by chat. Chat box. Sorry.
So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he?
Mr. William Shamspeare. He was a lodger here. As you can probably tell, he was an actor. Bit of a dead loss, as it happens. Or just dead.
Mr. Shamspeare.
It was the landlord, old Mr. Garadev, and the other lodger, Mr. Natsume, who found him. The fella didn't rise at his usual hours, so Garadev got worried and kicked the door down. With his bum knee? Randall's gonna immediately catches that too.
But doesn't Mr. Garadev have a bad leg?
Ah, yeah, you're right there. It was that jittery Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking.
Really? Soseki-san?
The victim was pretty hard up, it seems. Even done some time inside for petty crimes. He had no money, no place to go, and no friends. His only acquaintances were the people in this house. Miserable life, and a miserable end to it.
So, to what extent is Mr. Natsume doing here?
Oh wait.
So what exactly is Mr. Natsume doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene?
Well, I'm not saying it's because the fellow looks odd or anything, or that he acts suspicious. But I thought it would be pertinent to take a statement from the cohabiter.
You nearly said culprit there, did you? Oh dear. Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion again. It certainly seems that way. He does just come across as such an odd fellow, doesn't he? Poor man. How unfortunate.
Anyway, can't say much until the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fellow's been a goner that long. Body's still warm.
Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body.
Okay. Let's look at the Oi! I said hands off. Gonna mess up my crime scene.
Oh, no, I just wanted to look, that's all.
No chance. I know your kind. You'll mess it up just by looking at it.
Ugh, someone's in a bad mood.
There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't there? Why are you laughing, Shlums?
Alright, it sounds like I better talk to the inspector first and try to curry some favor.
Okay, well, I already talked to him. Yeah. Oh, is he going to... Shlums, what are you doing? I think we need to talk to Shlums, actually. Let's skip through this. Okay. I feel like there's another button that lets you skip through faster, but... It's so silly. When you skip through dialogue, it's just like bing, bong, and then, oh, bring. Always silly. Okay. button was it? I haven't switched in a while. That one. Okay, it's the D-pad. What are you doing, Shlomes? Every time. It's like, hey, do you know when you need to talk to Shlomes? It's whenever he's doing weird poses. Look at this man. What are you doing? What is even that pose? Sir?
Mr. Shlomes, what are you doing?
Ah, you need only observe to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating, naturally.
There's nothing natural about that pose. Mr. Shlomes, have you made some miraculous discovery?
Patience, my dear madame, patience. We've not been here in this room 5 minutes. So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened.
My goodness! But is that everything we need to know, Mr. Shlomes?
That you proposed the idea, I believe one could indeed see it that way. At the present time, I have managed to draw two incontrovertible. There we go. At the present time, I've managed to draw two incontrovertible conclusions. The first, that there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life. So he just screams.
Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is something that Mr. Shlomes said significant somehow?
No, don't mind me. Forget I was here. And there he goes, his eyes in the twitching. Can somebody get this guy a mug of cocoa or something? Poor Natsume. My second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. Nonsense! Ah! Oh gosh. I think this is the worst off we've seen him yet.
Alright, Mr. Natsume. Why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Shlomes' deductions?
No, please, pretend I'm not here. Invisible, ineffable, inscrutable, insignificant.
Impossible to ignore. You must tell us everything, Mr. Shlomes. Spare no detail.
But of course, let the theatrical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions presented for your pleasure in 2 acts.
I've heard some truly astounding great deductions from Mr. Shlomes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. The miracles will unfold before our eyes this time.
So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtains rise. For Herlock Shloms's Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1. You're such a goo. Game is afoot. The Great Deduction, the game is afoot. Topic 1, Cause of Death. Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this desolate... You mean desolate? Desolate room last night. From the foam of the deceased foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate which contains, you will observe, 1/2 of a sizable bar of soap. Meaningful? Indubitably. Why is the soap set so purposefully upon the dish? Like the victim's last supper, in fact, yes. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The fork reveals the answer. That's amazing, like, what are you on about? I'm sorry, that's really silly. Poor Natsume, he's all twitchy and stressed out, just looking at this man like, really? It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. Why are you boxing? Taking up arms in the form of his cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life. Yes, the struggle against his hunger was in vain, for in the end he couldn't resist devouring the slippery feast. But London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. The soap and the lather about the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive ingesting of foul soap. Though personally, I have a greater interest in the taste of foul candle wax, of course. Don't eat candles! Don't eat candles, Shalom! For crying out loud, this man. This is meanie. Topic 2, suicide or murder. The cause of death identified. We proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? And Natsume's gotten twitchy again. The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. The careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Here goes Natsume. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. Though forced open now, at the time of the incident, this door was locked. And the sole key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. Alone with his inferior soap, from whence waft an inferior scent. Why do I feel like you're insulting the man now, Shalom? And with that acidic aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end, in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the hereafter. No possible perpetrator present. That's a lot of peas. This concludes the final act of Herlock Shalom's great deduction. Thank you, Shloms. And everyone's quiet now. It's like, okay then. There's just one thing, Mr. Shloms. You are disposed to identify just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Pray, what concerns you? Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soap? It's quite apparent that this man has barely a penny to his name. It is a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing. Apparently you eat candles. Or at least I tried to. We need to toddler-proof the flat now so Shloms doesn't get into things. Oh, let's be serious. He'd get into things anyway. How extraordinary. In truth, I've tried a little soap myself in the past. You've eaten it, you mean? My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut. And did it? As I withered in agony on the floor and spit the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did. Don't eat soap. He's in it. See? Like I said, the smartest, dumbest character in this game. He's so smart, but he's so dumb. Shloms. Why? ¿Por qué? The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. No kidding! Jeez. Leave me. I wouldn't eat it even if you did. There's something that troubles me as well, actually. Oh? What's that? It's Mr. Natsume. Ah! I couldn't help but notice him shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Schlub's seductions touched a nerve somehow. No, nonsense! Well, he just... that was the quickest. He was shouting and deflated so quickly. Poor guy. Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last.
I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the great detective's deductions may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth. Yes, Mr. Sholmes' observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it into an obtuse angle.
Now he's posing. It looks like he's listening in, but is also like, about that. Ooh. Yeah.
When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright then, let's see what we can do. Yes, as we must pick out the key words in Mr. Sholmes' quite brilliant deductions, and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place.
In that case, are you ready for a second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular, Act 1. Ryunosuke. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. I feel like there's like a kid's cartoon that has that as a tagline somewhere in the world. Okay, I'm not gonna reread everything. Okay. Use of poison. Is it the plate with the soap in it? Victim's Last Supper? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, it's not the fork. Okay, so what do we need to exchange for fork? I need a... They're talking.
Well, you can't deny that a fork implies the man was eating something. Or about to eat something. Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks. And of course, only half the bar of soap is left on the plate. But might there not be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate some soap?
Oh, there's another piece here.
Look, there's more soap on the floor here. Mr. Shramspeare must really have loved the stuff. Let's not jump to conclusions, Mr. Naruhodo. Look closely at the soap. Do you see that it would fit together perfectly with the half bar on the table? What the... how can that be? I think that they are two halves of the same bar that broke apart.
Okay. So now we... Yeah, present. Switches it out. Shatter. And thus the true picture is revealed. Oop, I need to move again.
Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the other piece of soap reveals the answer. It being the other half of the soap on the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all.
But it's obvious, really. For no depths of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. You did! You weren't even hungry! You also apparently eat candles. Don't think you think I forgot. This man. Iris has her hands full keeping things out of this man's mouth. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite. But we took a bite at all.
But that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table.
An excellent observation, Mr. Naruhodo, and one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. Ryunosuke is making a bunch of silly faces. We actually get to see Ryunosuke. I love these bits, because we get to see him. When London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate.
Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument, then. Perhaps he's suggesting the man licked the soap rather than ate it. If soap in London is that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. There are no signs of any food in this room at all. Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, is it? Yep, there's a cup. I don't think that's it. Just noticed he has a bow tie. Not a shoe. Okay, let's look at the teacup. Yes, a Western vessel for the serving of infusions of dried tea leaves. It's a teacup, Mr. Naruhodo, as you well know. Stop putting on airs. And it's empty. Ah, so we've already established that the victim wasn't eating soap when he died. However, it's a significant evidence to suggest that he was drinking tea. My thoughts exactly. Right, okay, can't move anymore. Or is just the tea?
Take that!
Okay. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup.
Indeed, cups have been the vessels of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. And it would appear that this victim drank every last drop.
There's no sign of food anywhere in this room.
Natsume is freaking out. Background, the poor man. Hello, Schlums. Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. Course corrected. Poison in the tea. What I'm assuming it says. I am blocking it. It's also blocked in my view. Cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? Okay, I'm not reading the rest. So we get to, let's see. Single teacup is wrong. Switchy over.
Ah, the Western vessel for infusing hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deductions so far. Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shamsphere was having a drink of tea.
I like how Naruhodo's still like, yes, the Western vessel for infusing tea beverages. What was it? Yeah. The Western vessel for infusing hot drinks again. Like a teacup, Naruhodo. Why are you trying to speak flowery, sir? He's being silly today.
There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me is Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Shlom suggest it. There's more to this deduction than it seems. We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for some more clues.
Oh, he's holding another teacup.
It's another Western vessel.
It's a teacup! It's like, no more nonsense.
And it too is empty. Given that he's actually holding this one in his hand, we can assume this is the cup from which Mr. Shamsphere was actually drinking. But if that's the case, this changes everything. Everything we've deduced up to now is turned on its head. Bad feeling about this. I almost don't want to say it. Yes, I know exactly how you feel.
Okay.
Take that!
There's another cup.
The man dine and die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there were 2 teacups in this room all along.
Ah!
In other words, this is a strong indication that at the victim's last supper, there was a guest present.
Is that Mr. Flairplay's model all blacked out? At the very least, we can now say with certainty that somebody else was here in this room last night taking tea with the victim. What are you talking about? Utterly, unbelievable, unjustly, unreasonable. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly.
In which case, what more can we deduce about this possible guest at the table?
Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow.
Do you mean to say you know who exactly was in this room at the time of the victim's death?
Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is this broken lock. No, it doesn't. Not anymore. Not with your crazy soap eating theory. I completely forgot Shlum's trying to eat soap. Stupid man. Don't eat bars of soap, no matter how smelly, like flowery and appealing they are. They're poisonous when consumed. Not so much to the skin, at least I hope not, or else somebody's making the wrong kind of soap. Or you have other issues to worry about. Whatever. Don't eat soap. Don't try to eat any strange thing. If it's not food grade quality, don't eat it. Is your PSA from Leona Theodosia playing the Great Ace Attorney? Okay, I need to laugh for a second. Shlomes, why? He's so silly. He's so dumb yet so smart. Oh, what is that line? How could you be so smart yet so dumb? That fits perfectly here. Anyway.
I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now. I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the Halcyon days. Oh, Halcyon. I think it's more of Halcyon? To the Halcyon days of eating too much soap. The identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about. Well, you can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, I suppose not. Time to look around again.
Okay, there's a bottle. Ooh. Books. Okay. What else can we look at? Pile books, empty bottle. Anything else? Candle. What? Do they light that? How long has that been lit? Okay, let's check the books. Nah. My nose was bothering me, sorry. I'm reading a weird song and I'm like, go away, stop it.
At first glance, it seems that the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and costumes. I overlooked these 3 books initially. And whatever they are, let's see. The titles read, The Picture of Monsieur Lecour, The Canterbury Earnings, and A Meal for Gunborough. Garibo. Wait, what was that name? Oh, I'm blocking it. Oh, well. Wait, I'm sure I've heard those titles before.
Yeah, Mr. Natsume had them. We learned this in the trial with him. Oh gosh, which video was that? That was episode... Well, it's not 5, because that's the last of that series, and that's... That... Yeah, but that was Miss Lestrade? I think it was episode 4? Yeah, because we have... It opens with the tutorial, the steamship one, then it's the initial case with the Gilded. Yeah, so then Soseki's would have to be the 4th out of the 5 cases for the first game. So yeah, that was episode 4. That was a while ago, actually.
It could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day. What? Yes, on the day of the unfortunate incident with Miss Green. Oh, wait. Yes, on the day of the unfortunate incident when Miss Green was stabbed. Soseki-san had just been to a bookshop and bought them, that's right. And now, those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim. And Mr. Natsume claims never have been here before. What? What does this mean, do you think? I really don't know what to make of it.
Pile of familiar books. I like how that's what it changes to.
Take that!
It's this. Back and forth I go.
Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is a pile of familiar books.
Quite so. It's no mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in this room. It's a link to the truth. Again, I'm appreciating I get to see Ryunosuke. You get to see his face, and change his expression and everything. Arg!
Mr. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at a second-hand bookshop.
That's just a coincidence. In that case, you'll be able to bring the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment. Oh. No, never. Non-negotiable.
If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours.
Eh.
Having purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you could conceivably have brought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned that.
In other words, you could have only brought these 3 books here to the victim's room after the trial. Shlums thinks of him dancing. Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. In short, there's only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in this room last night as a result of poisoning.
And the same night the victim had a visitor.
And that visitor the face Ryunosuke was making. And that visitor was you, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Oh dear. Hi. This concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' great deduction. Yes, Soseki Natsume at the scene. Still didn't say if it was suicide or murder, and I doubt it was murder. Soseki, I don't think, would have killed the man. Deduction complete. Elementary! Oh, now he's sweating bullets. Poor Soseki. He called us over for help, and now he's getting the blame. Not again! Not again! Not again! Not again! Well then, Mr. Natsume. It would appear you're going to have to accompany me down to the yard. Again. But, wait! Hold your horses! Yeah? Door! Key! Locked! Entry! Exit! Entirely impossible!
He's so flustered, he's being even stranger than normal.
What? You think that's an alibi? You could have just made a copy. What? You live in the same building after all. You could have had plenty of opportunity, I'm sure. But... Misery me! Sorry, sir. You'll get your chance to give your side of the story later. Facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. Ah! You horrible Herlock Sholmes!
He really has found himself an arch rival now, hasn't he?
Come on now, no dilly-dallying. Outside. There's a carriage waiting. Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but... You have to help me! Please, please! I'm innocent! And there goes the waterworks, oh no. I'm glad to know that he gets to go back to Japan and frolic on a beach, catching crabs and making sandcastles. I feel so bad for Soseki. Especially after you see him actually be happy and more normal. He's just so stressed out. He's always been eccentric though, but... The poor man, can we go back to the first case? He was happy then.
Alright, I understand. I'll come to your cell later and talk about it.
One more thing!
Oh, yes?
My My poor little kitty cat! Please give him his breakfast for me! Poor Soseki.
And so, his evil curse still apparently unbroken. Soseki-san found himself once again, the prime suspect in a case of murder. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective.
My dear fellow, that arm belongs to you! Okay, that was kind of silly. He's just like, that wasn't me this time, that was you. Not wrong.
Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson is no longer here. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now. Yes, that's right. Ah, and of course. But have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was a landlord, Mr. Garidev, who discovered Mr. Shamspeare. Ah, Mr. John Garidev, yes. I expect we could find him in his sitting room on the top floor as usual. Right. We must remember to go and talk to him later then.
Okay. Time to snoop. There's a hole in the wall. There's this thing too.
And here we have another disproportionately large machine. It looks like a meter of some kind. Ah, this is a gas meter, I think. It seems that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with coins. Ah, I see. Yes, now that you've pointed it out. I can see there's a slot just here that looks like it would take a coin. So you mean, if you put a coin in here? That's right. That would buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating. So, if you are a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in the freezing cold. Yes, or if you were a scatterbrain with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank. Thank goodness there's no meter in our office.
And there's...
This is a gas wall light, is it? Isn't it? It must be connected to a gas pipe in the wall.
I can kind of see it already, though.
Gas lights, a gas stove? London really is a city of gas. Now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Garidev had an open fire on the top floor, didn't they? Oh yes, you're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove up there. But I much prefer a real fire anyway. It's so much cozier.
Okay, can't move around. How about we check out the tape? Wait, what is on the floor there? Look, a distraction.
What's this? It looks like a part of an envelope, I think. Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was opened. Is that significant? Well, it's a little out of place, perhaps. When you look around the room, there's no sign of a letter, or the rest of the envelope, in fact, is there? Ah, she's right. Yet here we have a torn off end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual. I agree. We'd better take this just in case.
Court record. Update. Okay, poke this guy.
Oh, the poor man. So young to die. Do you suppose it was a very painful death, being poisoned as he was? I don't know. All we can do now is hope that he'll be reborn to a better life. Yes, I suppose you're right. I wonder. Do you think that putting our hands together in a Japanese prayer will help a British soul? Sorry? I made sure I had a reference at the ready for just such occasions as this, actually. This book is entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Departed, the British Way.
Where do you get these?
I'll just reread it now. One moment. There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there?
That's so expensive. It's over here. He just scooches right a little over. What am I blocking? Okay, I'll just move here right now. So it looks like the stage you can look at, and then there's just the candle. Okay. Let's see. I'm like, if I don't move back, I'm gonna block the chat box. This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think, isn't it? Where does the audience sit, though? For the nightly Shakespeare performances. Actors aspiring to the great stage must practice their art, Mr. Naruhodo, with or without an audience. In fact, on a related note, perhaps you should set up a mock bench for a defense in your office. What? Then you could practice your art every single day. I'm so gung-ho about it. I'll think about it. If you promise to don a beard and play the role of the judge. Well, if that would help you achieve your goal, this I have to see. Yeah, that's just the stage. Okay. Click on the candle still? Nope. So that's just the stage. Okay. Window's bricked up just like Soseki's window. As we've seen from the outside, the window is completely bricked up. A vestige of the former window tax that Britons had to pay. What strange things they used to tax in Great Britain. I mean, making people pay for the number of windows they had in a property. It's extraordinary. It's heartbreaking to think of the poor having to block up their windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh! What is it, Miss Susato? If you look closely, a number of the bricks are loose. Oh, this is true. Oh, hello. Oh, yes. It looks as though an amateur has broken out a few of them just here. Was it Mr. Shamsby who did it, I wonder? Being the lodger renting this room. Ah, look at this, Mr. Naruhodo. On the outside, there's a little ledge. And there's something on it. What? Outside? You look at it again? Look at these. Oop. I accidentally clicked the costumes. Look at these extravagant and bright costumes. Somehow they look out of place in this room. With this grim, shady goings-on. This one looks like a king's attire. A king? I've always dreamt of being a king. Oh, I think he'd be more suited to a feudal lord. A daimyo or such like. With a chonmange top. Not every Japanese man wishes he had a chonmange. Oh, you look wonderful with one. And you already have the sword. Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets of London with a chonmange and a sword? Okay, look at the window again. Which is what I actually meant to do. Better, it's so cold outside. You can feel it through this gap. It did snow all last night. It would be cold. But more importantly, what is on the ledge out there? What are those snow-covered lumps? It's more bars of soap. Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on a ledge outside the window? I have no idea. But a pair of them look rather charming like that. Still, it's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lined up outside the window. I think perhaps we should take one. There are two, after all. Oh dear, I suppose we could. Oh, what's this? Look here at the soap. Ah! Do you see? In the middle here. There's a patch with a different color. It's sort of transparent, but... some sort of fancy design, I suppose. Only in Great Britain. It looks like the Hinomaru flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful! It's probably a very expensive brand. Expensive? What's it doing in this ramshackle room? Bar of soap added to court record. Oop. Okay. What else do we look? This? There's not much on these shelves, is there? Just this wine glass and bottle. Both of them are cracked. Yes, it's not much use, are they? What's the matter? Oh,
I was just reminded of the Reaper, that's all. Prosecutor Lord Van Zieks. Yes, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it's a waste and that he should donate some to the needy. You can suggest it next time we meet.
She doesn't seem fond of that idea.
Is that everything here then?
I think so. Got some other places we could be. Let's see. Oh, does it let me? Push back. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's move. Oop. Hi. Can I go to... Oh, can I not go to Natsume's room? He asked me to feed his cat. Okay, let's go to the Garideb's room before we go see Natsume. 21st February, the Garideb's room. Here we are again. The eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode. We're here because Mr. Garideb's the one who discovered the incident this morning. Don't forget. Hello. Ah, you chaps, eh? Yes, good morning, sir. Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday. It was quite a trial. As much for Mr. Garideb as anyone, really. Come straight back here after all that business at the Bailey yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more bally nonsense this morning. I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Garideb. Yes, I suppose you'd like to know all about that dead loss of an actor chap in the ground floor room. Who were exactly Inspector Gregson's words, weren't they? Up he goes. Hi. He's actually standing up. Hello. This morning's incident. It must have been a real shock for you this morning. I hear that you discovered what had happened. Ah, well, that hopeless actor chap rises at 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. But at 5:30 this morning, he still hadn't lit the gas. So I went down and knocked on his door, but no bally answer. And that's when you broke into his room by kicking it down the door. Well, I called on that rum-looking Japanese chap to do the grunt work, of course. Isn't it a little premature to kick the door down? The man could have just overslept by half an hour. That's very true, Mr. Naruhodo. If 30 minutes oversleeping warranted such behavior, I'd have to kick your door down every morning. Well, you know, better be safe than sorry and all that. Is it just me? Or is he avoiding our gaze now all of a sudden? Except that it was a sorry situation indeed that you found on the far side of the door. Mr. Shamspeare. The victim's name is Mr. Shamspeare, I believe. Is that right? Yes, William Shamspeare. Took the ground floor room 3 months ago now. And how would you describe him? In a word, destitute. Destitute? Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone wanting to live in a place like that is either broke or has a bally screw loose. So hard to choose which category Soseki-san would fall into. Ryunosuke! Rude! Mr. Naruhodo, that's a little rude. Yeah, Susato agrees with me. Was doing research as well. Research? Into what? Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare. Read a few plays of the old bard myself, you know. Romeo and Hamlet and all that. Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet's another thing. Actually, is Hamlet written by Shakespeare? I'm honestly not sure. I'm not up to snuff on my plays. Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He's known as Sao in Japanese, as you know, and many of his works have already been translated. It seems incredible that Shakespeare was shortened to Sao, though. Someone was too heavy-handed there. There were a lot of costumes in the victim's room, actually. Weren't there? Of course, Mr. Natsume is a scholar of English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shakespeare would have had much in common. Shakespeare interpretation? Disagreement. Shakespeare interpretation, a disagreement leads to shocking murder. Let's hope it's not that. So Naruhodo. Really? How rude. I was hoping it for not to happen. After Mr. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between then and this morning? Well now, must have been about 6 in the evening by the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily, as I remember. It was completely dark already. That failed actor chap was out at the time. Mr. Garidab noticed there's no light from his room or something, I suppose. Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so I just sat in front of the fire up here. It was after 8 before Shamster got back. The chap was up until past 1 in the morning, I'll have you know. Suppose he met his end sometime after that. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather in the dark there. Well, thank you. That was very illuminating. Is everything alright, Miss Susato? Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Garidab, you were up here in your room all evening, if I understood correctly. Not a big fan of stairs. Not with this blasted leg. Then, how is that you seem to know? The precise movements of your tenants on the ground floor, I mean. Ah! Oh, geez, don't fall over. That's a very good point. I can't imagine that you could hear noises from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it? I say! I know what you're thinking, and it's not a bally outrage. I'm ex-military, don't you know? I don't go around spying on my tenants. Why should I? Why would I? Then how did you know, Mr. Garidab? It was a gas woman. The gas tells me everything. The gas? Speaking gas? What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything, let alone everything? Well, as you're probably aware, the gas is supplied to the building by pipes. Yes, I'd more or less worked that out. Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside. And the gas company supplies gas to properties via the main. Yes, I understand that too. Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen? Well, obviously, the room would get brighter. Exactly. But at the same time, lights in all the other rooms of the house would dim for a moment. What? They dim? Why? Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual. And that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, might it? Yes, of course. Because everything's connected to a single supply pipe. Is that supposed to happen, though? It sounds rather undesirable. Jolly good point. Fact is, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless. Long worn out. And barely got any gas in them to start with. Opposite's also true, of course. Extinguishing the lamps up here and they glow brighter in the rest of the house. Ah, right, I see. So by watching the flickering of the lamps in one room,
you can determine what's happening elsewhere.
You've got it.
Oh, of course. Because when people come back in the evening and before they go to sleep at night, what they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out the lamps in the fires. Clever.
In point of fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above it use slightly different amounts of gas. By watching the lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house.
Gosh, that's fascinating, Mr. Garida. Absolutely fascinating.
Oh well, nothing to it really.
And I can't really see that it's going to help us with the case either. But I'd like to know. That's why Mr. Garida was so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than idle curiosity. Look at that. Nope.
Guess we could go somewhere else. We got Briar Road. Okay, we'll poke our heads out here. Is there something out here? Oop. Give me the location. Oh. Oops. Still on move. I thought I was gonna examine. My bad. Oh, you can see the bar of soap outside here.
With the exception of the top floor where Mr. and Mrs. Garida live, all the windows are bricked up. Yes, that's because of an old window tax that was charged on the number of windows a property had. In order to pay less tax, the poorer members of society filled in many of their windows. But the tax has since been abolished, hasn't it? So the windows could all be opened up again, surely. Unfortunately, it would appear that the residents of this district can't afford to pay to have the work done. Yes, that's a sad state of affairs. Especially for people like poor Mr. Natsume, who have to live all cooped up in a windowless room.
Indeed.
I suppose that's the price you pay for living in a very cheap accommodation. It all seems rather pointless when you put it like that.
I wanted to look at the soap, but we got the window talk again. Is anyone over here? Nope. Okay. Let's head elsewhere then. Let's go talk to Natsume. Okay. Local prison, cell 9. Oh, he's not here. Alright, let's look at the court record then. Ooh. We have the secondhand book receipt for Mr. Natsume. Yeah. Street map. The book. Okay, the envelope. Yep. This has an indent in it. I wonder if we can look at it closer.
This part is different color. It's an exquisite design, isn't it? Press the brush to turn a boring bar of soap into something special. I quite like it. It reminds me of the Honomaru design of the Japanese flag. I expect this is a rather expensive soap. That doesn't seem likely, given who it belongs to.
Perhaps we'll go back to the room and check around. Okay, but we do have to move away from here. Unless there's someplace else I just need to go. I guess I can quickly check. Yep. I don't think anyone's here. Nope. Yeah. We can look at Shlum's messy room. He's got papers on the floor. There's his violin. Then Iris's side. It's over here. Oh, there she is. Hi!
Iris?
She's busy.
It's incredible concentration, that is. I find it quite remarkable how she can focus on so many different things at once. Perhaps I should try drinking more herbal tea. The blend third from the right would be good for you, Runo.
Oh wait, that's Iris.
The blend from the right would be good for you, Runo. Oh, Iris?
And she's back to her, don't worry.
This girl is destined for great things, I'm sure.
Indeed. Okay. Hospital? And then we'll go back to Shamspeare's room. I guess we missed something. Oh, she's not here. Can I look at the rat? Mouse. Rat. Rodent. Eek! A mouse, Mr. Naruhodo! An enormous mouse! Ermin in a hospital. That doesn't seem the best. It looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump. I'm not sure we can say that's down to the excellence of this facility, if that's what you were thinking. Rodent. Is it someone's pet? But yeah, I don't think there's anything to do here. Let's go back to the room then. Either that, I gotta show one of the things I have. This guy is still just here. Collapse. Just that dude here. Oh, there's not much on these shelves, is there? Oh, wait. Still a crack. Yeah, this is the Van Zeeks thing again. Yeah. Oh, I couldn't see that was checked because... Oops. Well. Huh. Maybe I should show the soap to Garida? Because it's weird? Oop. Here. Do you want to see this? Or, and I can show the envelope. These are like, oop, nope. I have to click the right thing. Present. Do you have anything to say about this?
Sir Garida, could I show you this?
Been quite a couple of days, as you can imagine. I'm afraid I'm rather tired. I haven't really got the energy in the old eyeballs, to be honest with you.
Some other time, then.
Well, not that. Do you know about this letter? Nope. Maybe just look around the house, then? I haven't looked around Mr. Garideb's house. For a bit. Still looks much the same as it was last time.
It's an impressive collection of cakes on that fancy silver cake stand there. I feel sure that it was full of cakes when we first investigated in here as well.
Yes, quite right. I haven't touched it since. Haven't done much at all, really, since it all happened. Time's rather stood still for me, you know?
Oh. Time has stood still. That's an interesting phrase. I might be able to use that excuse when I'm next supposed to be tidying the office. You could just tidy up, Mr. Naruhodo. There's a good view over the wintry East End from up here. It's an oppressively gray scene. There's really nothing comparable in Japan. Down below, Briar Road, partly blanketed in snow. The pavement where poor Miss Green was struck in the back by that knife. Thinking about it, this is the only room in this building that actually has a window to the outside world. Sometimes Great Britain really does seem like a strange land, doesn't it? I suppose all foreign cultures seem strange at first. Imagine how an Englishman would feel on arriving in Japan and seeing people with a chomage top knot. Well, that's a good point.
I'm not sure. We do need to get him talking about... We can go to Briar Road. Yeah, we've been poked our head in all the places. Okay, can we go outside and investigate things? Oop. I really can't look at the soap out here. It's only inside. It's just there. Okay. Broken bike.
There always seems to be a bicycle outside the Garideb residence. I read that bicycles are extremely popular all over Great Britain, and at the moment, in fact. This one seems very warped, though. especially the front wheel. Is that to make it more of a challenge to ride, do you think? No, I'm afraid that it may be the result of the rider's incompetence. For the front wheel to be so badly warped, I'm afraid the rider must have been similarly affected. Then, there's a good chance Mr. Natsume has been practicing on this bicycle, I think. Oh dear. I fear you may be right. We go up to Mr. Natsume's place. Garida puzzled. Mr. Natsume's lodgings are in a prominent position there on the corner. Sometimes when I look at the building, I can't help but feeling that there's a bit of a slant. It does look rather as though it collapsed in even the smallest of earthquakes, doesn't it? And it isn't supposed to be haunted as well. I think I might have a hunch as to why Soseki-san has such a hunched back. I'm
not sure what we're trying to look for here. Perhaps I need to look it up myself, because I'm a bit stumped. Unfortunately. Hold on. Let's see. Memoirs of a Clouded Kokoro. It's nice to see Susato looking like herself in this case. Yeah, this is back in the past. This is Ryunosuke thinking about what's happened before. Okay, where am I? Yeah, interview. I think I'm here. Is that gonna work? Nope. Let's see. Doesn't like us can a half hour after. Anyway, he says extra story 1 p.m. This is gaslight. We got some. Well, it just says that I've done everything, huh? I mean, it's not gonna have. Huh. Oop. Do I need to try talking to Garida again? Because it says, like, I should be able to go here and have Natsume show up. Yeah, he's not here at all. Okay. I'm gonna have to talk to Mr. Garida again. I mean, it's not examine. Like, examine him on the chair. Yeah, no, he's not sitting. He's just standing. Huh. You want me to go through this dialogue again? I'm just confused now. Yeah. Yeah, so it's the gas lines again. Because that was the thing that seemed to lead to another dialogue, but... Yeah. The gas lamps... elsewhere. But why would he be paying attention? Right? That's how the conversation ended. What I'd like to know is why Mr. Garida was so interested in Tenet's up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than out of curiosity. Yeah, and then it just goes back to this. I don't think there's any gaslight things up here. The missing candle. Maybe I didn't check a light or something down here? Woo! Huh. Yeah, they're still checked off, because it seems like the gas is gonna be important. Keeps getting brought up and all that. This other letter. Can't look over here. I still can't go to Natsume's. Alright. Right? I want to feed the cat. Natsume asked me to feed the cat. I'm like, I can't feed the cat. The game's not letting me. Oh, jeez. Let me see more, if I can find more detailed. That's... Okay, that's not helpful. Yeah, 'cause it just says... Same probably have guard turn gaslight. Yeah, and then just go straight to that. What am I missing? Let's see. Maybe I missed something else. Okay. The deduction. Envelope. Gas meter. Coins. The lamps shoved. Hour. Found the... Yeah, it says there's the soap and the bricks. Huh. Oh, okay. No, we do have to look around here more. Oops. Yeah, I need to look at the teacup. I keep missing that. Okay, I need to look at this. Okay, I found it out. I looked over what I missed. Okay, I missed looking at the teacup. Oh, gee. Should probably have looked at that. Now I'm feeling foolish. Oh, well. Moving on. Ah, what are the teacups that Mr. Shamspear and his guests drank from last night? Don't go drinking from them, Mr. Naruhodo. There's bitter poison inside. I'm not planning on drinking any, don't worry. Anyway, the cups are both empty. That's true. So, one was Mr. Shakespeare's, or Shamspeare's, and the other must be the cup that Mr. Natsume was drinking from. Soseki-san wasn't poisoned, of course. Perhaps we should take these so we can examine them in more detail later. Cups. Oh, yeah, here we go. I was wondering why nothing looked like it happened. Looks like you're having a good snoop around, eh? Hi, Gregson. Inspector Gregson, back so soon? After I threw that little Japanese fella in the clink, I went and reported this in the investigation division. In 5 minutes' time, this place will be cornered off by the yard. Oh, I see. Well, we'd better be leaving then. Poor Mr. Natsume must be feeling very low, being back in the cell again so soon. Oh. Hi! I'm sure we probably go and... I don't think he's dead. What's wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah! Hi. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. Are you gonna continue? Now, how soundeth the next part? It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Indeed, oh happy day! Oh. Goodbye. What? What? Walking Dead! In those cases, a wee bit freaked out. The fella isn't dead at all? Did nobody check? What was that nonsense he was saying, though? I think, yes, it was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. Even oh gosh, am I gonna be able to actually say this? A soliloquy from Act 5, Scene 5. Shakespeare. So it was that the victim, Mr. William Shamspeare, came back to life. The man had indeed been poisoned. It transpired that it hadn't killed him.
He was taken by emergency carriage to a nearby hospital for treatment.
Nobody checked on this poor man. Not a pulse. Gregson apparently just touched him with body's still warm. Didn't see if he was alive.
And Inspector Gregson evicted us from the scene of the crime. Wherever that was now.
Oh boy. Oh jeez. You know what? I think that's a pretty good note to end on. Absolutely bonkers weird. Let's end it here. Oh boy, I was waiting for that. I'm like, doesn't he get back up? Because of course, again, I played through the game, so I knew this was gonna happen. I am trying my best not to spoil anything and act dumb at times. I'm getting more practice in, which is, I guess, a good thing, given that I do often play things I've played before and I don't really want to spoil them. But anyway, that was the start of this, what is it, 7th episode in Chronicles, which is the 2nd episode of Resolve. So I hope you like it. If you did, leave a like. Feel free to leave any comments if you so wish. If you're, I don't know, watching this as just video recording. The VOD, the video on demand. Anyway, I'm being a bit silly. Oh yeah, and you feel free to subscribe if you want to see more Ace Attorney if you're having a good time. And there's also all the other VODs, all the other parts. They're in a playlist. Feel free to check them out if you're new here. Okay, I think that's done with the spiel. Doing my job. But yeah, anyway, now I'm just gonna blather on about it how I like this. All the Shakespeare. I like how Shakespeare got up, starts reciting Macbeth, and then Gregson just calmly continues it, and then there's Ryunosuke and Susato absolutely losing their minds. It's just such a funny thing. I can just imagine Gregson kind of turning to them and being like, would you quiet down? I mean, really. Also, I kind of want to look at Herlock and just be like, did you know he was alive? Did you know? Because I have been noticing going through these deduction things that if you, even after course correcting, if you're paying attention, there are things Sherlock Holmes does and does not say. Like, you'll notice, like, later it'll be proved incorrect, but it's because Ryunosuke and, like, Susato came to that conclusion. Sherlock Holmes himself didn't say any of that, and I'm like, this man is smarter than you think. He's still a bit of an idiot, but he definitely knows what he's doing. Some of it's, if not all of it's an act. I don't know how, I imagine some of the goofiness is actually that's just Herlock being Herlock, but some of it, I'm like, no, he's doing that on purpose. He's doing that on purpose, and we saw a bit of that in the beginning of this stream, with him going like, I'm leaving, I'm not saying anything, goodbye. Like, thanks for not being subtle at all, Mr. Slomes. But yes. Yeah, just, I guess, as a reminder, since we were dealing with shenanigans with Shakespeare, there is, the whole point of this episode is there's something that happens in here that freaks out Herlock and Mikotoba. And, like, Mikotoba got his daughter to come back to Japan. So, like, keep that in mind. We are looking for that little nugget of information. What is freaking out the two smart people? We don't know. Well, okay, I know. I played this game before, but I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. It is going to be good, though. It is going to be good. I'm excited. I'm very happy that we're getting to this part of the story. I really was not expecting to be streaming this part soon. I thought I would be streaming this on, well, this Friday, but we got through the beginning trial real quick. Well, streamed earlier than I thought, so... yeah. Yeah, after this, I'm just excited. Just really excited. This is my favorite part. There's so much good stuff. Even though a lot of this was me feeling bad for poor Soseki. Like, oh no, he's stressed out. He's stressed out of his mind. Okay. But I'll leave that here, because for now I must bid you all farewell for fun. Bye-bye, and I hope to see you another time.